Human relationships are complex, and despite our best intentions, they can be fraught with tension and difficulties. One common challenge that many people face in relationships is self-sabotage, which can take many forms, including self-destructive behavior, passive aggressiveness, jealousy, and insecurity. In this video, we will explore the reasons why people sabotage in relationships and examine some strategies for overcoming this damaging behavior. One common reason why people sabotage in relationships is fear of intimacy. Many people have a deep-seated fear of getting too close to someone else, for fear of being hurt, rejected, or abandoned. These fears may stem from childhood experiences or past relationships, and they can be difficult to overcome. As a result, people may find themselves pushing away their partners, sabotaging their relationships, and ultimately confirming their fears of rejection and abandonment.
Intimacy is a critical component of any healthy relationship, as it involves emotional closeness, vulnerability, and trust. However, for many people, the idea of intimacy can be daunting, even terrifying. Fear of intimacy is a common reason why people sabotage their relationships, and it can have far-reaching consequences for both partners. At its core, fear of intimacy is a fear of being emotionally vulnerable with another person. This fear may stem from past experiences of rejection, betrayal, or abandonment, which can lead to a belief that getting too close to someone is inherently dangerous. Alternatively, fear of intimacy may be a learned behavior passed down from family members or cultural messages that discourage emotional vulnerability and connection. Whatever the cause, fear of intimacy can lead to a range of self-sabotaging behaviors in relationships. For example, some people may find themselves becoming distant or aloof with their partners, avoiding conversations or activities that require emotional openness. Others may become hypercritical or nitpicky, finding fault with their partners as a way of pushing them away. Still, others may sabotage their relationships by engaging in self-destructive behavior, such as substance abuse or risky sexual behavior. One reason why fear of intimacy can be so damaging to relationships is that it can prevent partners from building trust and emotional intimacy. When one partner is unwilling or unable to be vulnerable with the other, it can create a sense of distance and disconnection that can be difficult to overcome. Over time, this lack of intimacy can erode the foundation of the relationship and lead to feelings of dissatisfaction, resentment, and loneliness. Overcoming fear of intimacy in relationships is a complex process that requires self-reflection, vulnerability, and trust. One important step is to identify the underlying causes of your fear, whether it's past experiences, cultural messages, or personal beliefs. This may involve seeking therapy or counseling to explore your thoughts and emotions in a safe, supportive environment. Another important strategy is to practice vulnerability with your partner. This can involve sharing your thoughts, feelings, and experiences in an open and honest way, even if it feels uncomfortable or scary. It can also involve taking small steps towards intimacy, such as holding hands or cuddling, to build trust and emotional connection over time. Finally, it's important to remember that overcoming fear of intimacy is an ongoing process that requires patience and self-compassion. It's normal to feel scared or vulnerable when building intimacy with another person, and it's important to be kind to yourself as you navigate this process. By practicing self-care and self-compassion, you may find that you are better able to overcome your fear of intimacy and build fulfilling, healthy relationships.
Another common reason why people sabotage in relationships is a lack of self-awareness. People who struggle with self-sabotage may not be fully aware of their own behavior or the impact it has on others. They may act impulsively, without considering the consequences of their actions, or they may engage in self-destructive behaviors, such as substance abuse or risky sexual behavior. These behaviors can be harmful not only to themselves but to their partners as well, and they can ultimately lead to the breakdown of the relationship.
Self-awareness is an essential component of healthy relationships. It involves being in tune with your own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and understanding how they impact others. However, for many people, self-awareness can be a challenging skill to develop, and the lack of it can lead to self-sabotage in relationships. People who struggle with self-sabotage may not fully understand their own behavior or the impact it has on others. They may act impulsively or engage in self-destructive behaviors without considering the consequences for themselves or their partners. This can include things like substance abuse, risky sexual behavior, or engaging in conflicts with their partner that are likely to result in arguments or breakups. One reason why a lack of self-awareness can lead to self-sabotage in relationships is that people may not recognize the patterns of behavior that are causing problems. For example, someone who engages in substance abuse may not realize that it is causing tension and conflict in their relationship. They may not understand how their behavior is impacting their partner, and may continue to engage in it even when it causes harm. Another reason why self-awareness is important in relationships is that it can help people to recognize their own needs and communicate them effectively to their partner. Without self-awareness, people may not recognize when they are feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or emotionally distant from their partner. They may not communicate these feelings, leading to a breakdown in communication and an inability to work through problems together. Self-awareness can also help people to identify their own negative self-talk or self-limiting beliefs that may be impacting their behavior in relationships. For example, someone who believes that they are unlovable or unworthy of a healthy relationship may engage in self-sabotaging behaviors, such as pushing away their partner or avoiding emotional intimacy. By recognizing these beliefs and challenging them, people can begin to change their behavior and build healthier relationships. Developing self-awareness in relationships requires ongoing effort and commitment. It involves being honest with yourself about your thoughts and feelings, and taking responsibility for your own behavior. It may also involve seeking feedback from others, such as your partner or a therapist, to gain a more objective perspective on your behavior.
Jealousy and insecurity are also common reasons why people sabotage in relationships. When people feel insecure or jealous, they may act out in ways that are harmful to their relationships, such as accusing their partners of infidelity, checking their phones or social media accounts, or becoming overly possessive. These behaviors can be damaging to the relationship and can erode trust over time.
Jealousy and insecurity are common emotions that can arise in any relationship, but when left unchecked, they can lead to self-sabotage. When people feel insecure or jealous, they may act out in ways that are harmful to their relationships. This behavior can include accusing their partners of infidelity, checking their phones or social media accounts, or becoming overly possessive. One of the reasons why jealousy and insecurity can lead to self-sabotage is that they can erode trust over time. When someone is constantly checking their partner's phone or social media accounts, it can create an atmosphere of distrust and suspicion. This can lead to arguments and misunderstandings, further damaging the relationship. Additionally, when someone accuses their partner of infidelity without any evidence, it can create feelings of resentment and hurt in the accused partner. Another reason why jealousy and insecurity can lead to self-sabotage is that they can cause people to engage in controlling behaviors. People who are feeling insecure or jealous may try to control their partner's behavior, such as who they talk to or what they wear. This can be harmful to the relationship because it can create feelings of resentment and frustration in the partner who feels controlled. Jealousy and insecurity can also lead to self-sabotage because they can cause people to engage in behaviors that push their partners away. For example, someone who is jealous may constantly accuse their partner of flirting with others, which can lead their partner to feel like they are being unfairly accused. Over time, this can cause the partner to withdraw emotionally, leading to a breakdown in communication and the eventual end of the relationship. Dealing with jealousy and insecurity requires a willingness to acknowledge and address these emotions. One way to do this is to identify the triggers that cause these emotions and work to address them. For example, if someone feels jealous when their partner talks to a certain person, they may need to work on building trust in the relationship or communicating their needs to their partner. Another way to address jealousy and insecurity is to work on building self-esteem. People who feel secure in themselves are less likely to feel jealous or insecure in their relationships. This may involve engaging in self-care activities, such as exercise or meditation, or seeking support from a therapist or counselor.
So why do people engage in self-sabotage in relationships? It's important to remember that self-sabotage is often a coping mechanism. People may engage in self-destructive behavior as a way of dealing with difficult emotions, such as anxiety, fear, or loneliness. They may push away their partners as a way of protecting themselves from the pain of rejection or abandonment. In some cases, people may also self-sabotage as a way of exerting control over their relationships, even if that control is ultimately harmful.
Self-sabotage in relationships is a common phenomenon, and it can have a profound impact on individuals and their partners. There are several reasons why people engage in self-sabotage, and it's important to understand these reasons in order to address and overcome them. One reason why people engage in self-sabotage is as a coping mechanism for difficult emotions. Relationships can be a source of intense emotions, such as anxiety, fear, and loneliness. When people are struggling with these emotions, they may engage in self-destructive behavior as a way of coping. For example, they may turn to alcohol or drugs as a way of numbing their emotions, or they may engage in reckless behavior as a way of escaping their problems. Another reason why people engage in self-sabotage is as a way of protecting themselves from the pain of rejection or abandonment. This can be particularly true for individuals who have experienced trauma or difficult relationships in the past. When people have been hurt in the past, they may push away their partners as a way of avoiding the pain of being hurt again. They may also engage in behaviors that create distance in the relationship, such as becoming emotionally unavailable or avoiding intimacy. In some cases, people engage in self-sabotage as a way of exerting control over their relationships. This can be particularly true for individuals who struggle with issues of power and control in their personal lives. They may engage in behaviors that are ultimately harmful to the relationship, such as lying or manipulating their partners, as a way of exerting control. Regardless of the reason why people engage in self-sabotage, the impact on their relationships can be profound. Self-sabotage can create distance and mistrust in relationships, ultimately leading to their breakdown. It can also cause harm to the individuals themselves, particularly when they engage in self-destructive behaviors as a way of coping with difficult emotions. Addressing self-sabotage requires a willingness to acknowledge and work through difficult emotions. This may involve seeking support from a therapist or counselor who can help individuals identify the underlying causes of their self-sabotage and develop healthier coping mechanisms. It may also involve developing greater self-awareness and taking steps to build self-esteem and resilience.
Overcoming self-sabotage in relationships can be a difficult and ongoing process, but it is possible. One important step is to become more self-aware and recognize when you are engaging in self-destructive behavior. This can involve taking a step back and examining your thoughts and emotions, as well as seeking feedback from trusted friends or a therapist. It's also important to identify the root causes of your self-sabotage, whether it's fear of intimacy, jealousy, or insecurity, and work to address those underlying issues.
Another key step in overcoming self-sabotage in relationships is to develop healthy coping mechanisms. This may involve finding alternative ways to deal with difficult emotions, such as practicing mindfulness, exercising, or engaging in creative activities. It may also involve developing healthier habits, such as improving sleep hygiene, reducing substance use, or seeking medical treatment for mental health issues. Communication is also an essential component of overcoming self-sabotage in relationships. It's important to communicate openly and honestly with your partner about your feelings and behaviors, as well as your goals and aspirations for the relationship. This may involve setting boundaries and expectations, and working together to find solutions to any issues that arise. This means learning to say no to things that do not serve our best interests, or that may harm us in some way. It also means being assertive in our communication with others, and standing up for ourselves when necessary. By setting healthy boundaries, we can protect ourselves from negative influences and focus on what is truly important to us. Self-sabotage can be a difficult and painful experience, and it's important to be kind and forgiving to yourself as you work to overcome it. This may involve challenging negative self-talk and developing a more positive self-image. Self-care and self-compassion are also crucial in overcoming self-sabotage in relationships because they help individuals prioritize their own well-being and happiness. This, in turn, can lead to healthier and more fulfilling relationships with others. When we take care of ourselves, we are better able to communicate our needs and desires to our partners, improve our mood, reduce stress, cultivate a sense of purpose, fulfillment, and less likely to engage in self-destructive behaviors.